I must begin by expressing my deep concern because the way this issue has been handled by the Welsh Government falls far short of what our farmers deserve. To be clear, members of the Senedd have received no technical briefing, neither from the Deputy First Minister's office nor from the Chief Veterinary Office on this decision or the science behind it. There has been no economic impact assessment, despite the far-reaching consequences for our rural community, and perhaps most troubling of all, the decision was issued via written statement on a Thursday afternoon, just after the Senedd week had ended, ensuring no scrutiny, no questions and no answers until today. It took 7 days from the round table to issue last week's written statement and a further 5 days before the Senedd could debate it. That delay did not go unnoticed, Deputy First Minister, by the farming community. It left farmers facing a weekend of confusion and anxiety. I've heard from auctioneers, market operators, producers and farmers, all of whom are desperate for clarity. Now let's consider the practical impact of this decision. We all understand the importance of protecting Welsh livestock from bluetongue, but the measure imposed are not only excessive, they're unworkable. Requiring pre-movement testing for all live imports, even vaccinated animals, might look reasonable on paper, but in the real world of Welsh farming, it's chaos. I've spoken with a farmer in mid-Wales now facing a bill of at least £18,000 just to bring their own sheep back from England, a field which is only 5 miles down the road. That cost covers testing, the transport delays, logistical headaches, and that is not an isolated incident. Auctioneers have contacted me with serious concerns. Livestock markets, already under strain, now face collapsing confidence. Movement restrictions are sowing uncertainty at the height of the trading season. This isn't protecting the industry, it's paralysing it, where a lack of stock will make many marts unviable. Matthew Nichols, an auctioneer operating on both sides of the border, posted a video outlining these concerns. It's been viewed nearly 250,000 times, and if you haven't seen it, Deputy First Minister, I strongly suggest you and your team do. Now consider the wider cost. Vaccinating all livestock in Wales would amount to over £32 million, £6 per cow, £3 per sheep or goat. That is a staggering financial burden for an industry already struggling with high input costs and poor weather. And let's talk about the science. The Cabinet Secretary speaks of holding the disease at bay, but the disease does not respect borders. By imposing a deadline date, the Welsh Government may inadvertently increase the risk of bluetongue entering Wales, just as we saw with COVID, when fixed deadlines often undermine contaminant efforts. This could well make the disease, invite the disease into Wales, something the First Minister says he doesn't wish to do. Now, this decision is out of touch with farming reality, and it is neither proportionate nor pragmatic, as you say in your statement. And it's not just me saying this. Industry voices across the board have criticised the policy for its sheer impracticality, its cost and its bureaucracy. I haven't even touched on the major concerns around testing and lab capacity, which could completely derail this government's plans. To date, there have been 260 confirmed cases in England, which is nearly 20 million sheep and cattle. That's 0.001%. So we all want to keep bluetongue out. We all want to protect our herd and our flocks. But even the Deputy First Minister has said that he cannot guarantee that this approach will keep bluetongue out of Wales, all while being impractical, bureaucratic and costly. The Deputy First Minister has said the policy will be kept under review, but with no clear timeframes. Therefore, I urge the Welsh Government to urgently reconsider its position and move Wales into a restricted zone alongside England. While the industry acknowledges that this approach isn't perfect, they do recognise that it reflects the reality of animal movements, the shared nature of the threat, and the need for coordinated policy across the borders.
There were many points made in that, but I'm not sure which of them were actually questions, apart from would I take it away and reconsider right now the decision we've come to? And the answer to that is reluctantly no, but this policy will be kept under live and regular review. And you'll notice that what we've said, Sam, is that it's live and regular review. So as the evidence, or if the evidence changes on the ground, we can revisit this policy and come back to it. One of the key choices here in what I've described as a finely balanced judgment is whether we stand and try to keep this disease out of Wales for as long as possible. Partly, as I explained in my opening remarks, to enable the avoidance of the costs that will be incurred by farmers and the well-being impacts of farmers of dealing with this disease if it gets into Wales. Partly also in order to make sure that we can line up and better understand the supply and demand of vaccinations, which all around the round table, even though there were difference of opinion on the right way forward, agree is the right way forward. So what we are doing here, in effect, Sam, difficult as this decision is, finely balanced as it is we think there is a fighting chance here to hold this back, at least for some time, and we've been successful in this in Wales because of all the partners working together and because of the use of vaccine. And that, you know, may get us to the point where we don't incur massive costs and impacts on the farming community because we have invited this disease in. So I would simply urge you to reflect the difference of views that are being expressed by people across the sector, including, by the way, the veterinarian advice as well. So on that basis, I just ask you also to reflect, but we will keep this under review. Can I just clarify one thing, which I think you may have misunderstood from the policy, when you talked about a farm, which, if I understood you, was now looking at massive costs in transferring animals back and forth across. I just want to clarify. I may have misunderstood, so I just want to clarify the issue of cross-border farms. Cross-border farm movements, as we've done in previous areas where we've done this, is able to happen. There will be no testing requirements for movements to and from land within a farmer's combined holding. So we'll use the existing TB rules we have in place for movements to linked holdings, such as the rules around temporary land associations. Now, I may have misunderstood, but I want to put that clearly on record, because one of the things that will be of concern is where farms straddle the border on both sides of the border, so there is a way forward on that.